In his Forbes article dated January 2019, entitled Location-Based VR, the Next Phase of Immersive Entertainment, the columnist Anshel Sag states that LBEVR is an area that shows a lot of promise. Essentially, LBEVR is a place of business that hosts VR experiences, allowing users to physically interact with the environment in a way that they can't in their own homes. LBE is a revolution in the field of virtual reality. Welcome everybody to the fourth date of Nite Florence. My name is Cecilia Lascialfari, co-founder of Area6Dov.com, creative technologist, aspiring journalist and organizer of Nite Florence event. LBEVR seems to be technological innovation that will finally launch virtual reality to the mainstream. And just when this prediction seems to be about to come true, the COVID pandemic shuts down everything in the world, locking us in our houses. Thus, VR takes other paths. Of course, VR still needs to find its place in the mainstream. It's likely that in the next future there will be VR arcades that we won't do without. That's why today we are very happy to present at our Nite Florence guests from three Italian companies: Giovanni Fantoni Modena, CCO and co-founder of VITRUVIAN VR, Marco Arena, co-founder of Beyond the Gate, and Alessandro Martire, CEO of The Portal, who will explain us how VR can be applied to distinct environment, playful, edutainment, and museum. What do Leonardo da Vinci, Vitruvius, and his explanation of human proportion have to do with VR and Nite Florence? Have you ever gone back in time to live in the shoes of a medieval archer? What are the risks and opportunity of the LBEVR model in museums with tourists, schools, and families? Can you make a VR game with no UI, no buttons, and still see your user have fun and know what to do? Do you want to explore the complications and benefits of VR game design? And now I'm happy to introduce my co-organizer of Nite Florence and good friend Anthony Vitillo. Hi Anthony, as always, it's great to see you here.
Thanks to you, Cecilia, for the introduction. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nite Florence. I'm Anthony Vitillo. I'm a developer and a blogger in the R&VR field. My blog is www.oscarghost.com. And I always like to work in this field, both as creating content and also talking about the VR ecosystem in general. And every night is a great occasion to get people speak to the community and make people connect together. So what we love about Nite Florence is the community that is able to create. And so I invite you all to be very active in the chat, speak between you and ask questions to the speakers. I know that sometimes notifications may be a lot in the chat, so I hope this will not annoy you, but it's very important, in my opinion, to connect in these events, because especially in this moment, we can't go out for home. This can be amazing. But now let's finish this introduction, and I can introduce the first speaker that is not only a friend, but also a great community member and someone I've been very honored to work with. I'm talking about Marco Arena, the co-founder of Beyond the Gate. Beyond the Gate has created VR edutainment experiences that bring the users to the heart of culture and history. The first experience, Beyond the Castle, has brought more than 10,000 users back in time to enjoy the Sforza Castle in Milan as a medieval archer. In this presentation, Marco will cover the risks and opportunities of location-based entertainment VR in museums, providing lessons learned in developing an edutainment experience and running it for 18 months with tourists, school, and family. Welcome, Marco. It's an amazing pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Anthony, for the great introduction, and thank you, everyone, for organizing such an interesting session on LBVR. I'm particularly, I think it's really interesting and really useful. LBVR is a really hard business in the sense that it combines software development and the difficulties of distribution in location like retail. So I guess for anyone that is here that is thinking of opening LBVR business, there will be a lot of lessons learned that could help not doing the mistakes that we have already done. So yeah, I start with my presentation. Hello everyone, my name is Marco Arena. I'm the CEO and founder of Beyond the Gates. Here you can find an extract of our pitch deck that we used to raise funds at the end of 2019, beginning 2020. So Beyond the Gate is a virtual reality location-based VR company that it's somehow unique in the sense that we don't focus on pure entertainment, but we focus on edutainment. The idea is really to be the first virtual reality traveling company so that with us you can go anywhere to any time in history. A virtual reality travel platform which allows to have a social experience, a superpowered traveler. So imagine you are a gladiator, you don't just see the Colosseum as it was back in the days, you fight against your enemies, and you have it just down the street, down the road, in a shopping mall close to your place. Our first experience was Beyond the Castle, a virtual reality location-based entertainment experience, which mixed fun with also some cultural information. So at the end of the experience, you could have fun fighting for the sports castle, but also learn something about the castle itself and Milano in the 1500s. Really interesting because the Sforza Castle at the time was the home of Leonardo da Vinci. So interesting because our first experience was we had the chance to actually have our experience at the Sforza Castle. So we targeted tourists that used to come to visit the castle and wanted to have an experience to top up their existing visits. We target like Milanese, but also very important schools and families. And I'll tell you why the choice of content edutainment is a winning point in terms of business. I show you a quick video to give you a taste of the experience. I don't know if you will hear the sound, but that's where you defend. You use a crossbow and you defend the castle. And after, you had to reply to questions about the castles, about the crossbows, and about the defense techniques, as you can see in another part of Milan. So very interesting. Location-based VR is a tough business because you have a lot of costs, and it basically mixes the difficulties of having a retail shop to the software industry. So you have a lot of complexity. But regardless of that, we did very well. So we were cash positive in the first 6 months. We had a ticket price, which for an experience in Milan is pretty expensive. It's 22 euro for around 30 minutes of experience. Against only a 7 euro customer acquisition cost. So people were really talking about Beyond the Castle because it was something different. So we only spent 7 euro on Facebook and Google advertising. The rest was all organic. But 4,500 users in the first weekends, 50 weekends, and we had 2.4 average tickets purchase. So that validated our idea that this was a group experience. And really interesting, even though it's a video game product, the main buyers of this experience were women, mothers in particular, because they really were looking for something that they could do with their kids, and something that was fun, that had a strong digital component in it, but at the same time could also teach their kids something about the history and the culture of the city. So the choice of the content, of the entertainment content was strategic in order to for the success of the business. Also because one of the problems with location-based VR is that you have a large portion of the day and of the week where you don't have customers. So this edutainment content could also be sold to schools that are actually looking for experiences that have an educational component and that at the same time they have a strong digital component. So during the day, while usually location-based VR don't have customers, we could sold at a cheaper price the experience to schools, and it was very, very interesting. We had a lot of classes coming from all the region. So the idea was really like to use these metrics to get investments, but for two reasons we didn't manage to close our Series A. The first is that COVID came, and so of course the video game industry grew a lot, but not location-based VR because it doesn't have the right distribution channel. Of course, we were exposed to viruses and all these sorts of problems. The second one was the scalability. A lot of the venture capitalists actually really liked our metrics, our value propositions, but they were pretty skeptical about the ability to scale fast a business which is brick and mortar. So if you're looking for funds for location-based VR, my suggestion is not to approach the market with a brick and mortar approach. So building the content, the platform, and managing the operations, but only focusing on two of the three. So building the platform and the content, and then leave the operation to franchisee, for example. That would have been a better approach to raise funds for us. So here we have an idea of what could be the next impossible destinations. We also tested them and we had good response. And yeah, that was also an idea about how we wanted to market ourselves in terms of retail locations. So this gives this magical flavor about the experience. I hope this presentation was helpful. If you have any questions, you can email me at marco@beyondthegate.io, and I thank you, Tony and Cecilia, for the time. Good luck for our. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. And now I'm happy to introduce Giovanni Fantoni Modena, CCO and co-founder of VITRUVIAN VR, that in 2019, along with Michele Ghedina, Niccolò Galiazzo, and Adriano Del Moro, founded their company. He will speak about the genesis of the first VITRUVIAN VR simulator and the current development of the VITRUVIAN VR 4XS, the first ready-to-market product of the company. Welcome, Giovanni. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Hello, everyone. This is Giovanni Fantoni Modena, and I am the Chief Creative Officer of VITRUVIAN VR. VITRUVIAN VR was born out of a frustration. Back in 2018, we were quite astonished to not see companies developing fully 360 degrees virtual reality simulators, despite all the hype surrounding virtual reality. We imagined that in 2018, solutions like the ones portrayed in old films like The Lawn Mower should have existed already. So this was the spirit with which the company was born. Let's have a look at a short trailer of our solution. So, Vitruvian VR is a gyroscopic virtual reality simulator. Vitruvianists can experience multiple virtual realities in first person, of course, and the machine supports multiplayer environments. Here on the left you can see Mr. Federico Faggin, the inventor of the microprocessor, trying out the Proto Zero, the prototype that you could actually see in the trailer. The Proto Zero comes with the 3 axes, the 2 blue axes that you can see around Federico Faggin's body, and the 3rd axis on the base of the machine, the one with the purple and blue lights. What we are currently developing is the first ready-to-market product, which is the Vitruvian VR 4XS. 4XS stands for 4 axes. So with that, we are able to move the user's body in a real, fully 360 degrees fashion without no constraints whatsoever. Let's have a look at how was the response from still the Proto Zero in the Wired Next Fest and other public events that we hold recently. What you will hear is Laura Winterling, the former ESA European Space Agency astronaut trainer.
Great experience. It's you know, there's one person made this woo sound, you know, because you immerse completely in it. All your senses are in it. You're controlling the thing. You can fly it. It's real fun to do loops in it, backwards, forwards, to the sides. From the imagery, it's amazing. It's what you would expect from VR. It's pretty new that you can have that speed flying, you know, from planet to planet or among stars or something like that. Quite a chill for the brain, I have to say.
So this was Laura Winterling talking about the prototype. So let's have a look at the vision of the company. We can see Vitruvian VR as a truly open platform. We are building the machine, the firmware and the software, but we look at Vitruvian as a platform for users from everywhere to adapt and develop new softwares and new virtual reality experiences. We are currently developing our own proprietary game, Vitruvian Royale, which is meant to be a battle royale deathmatch style, able to connect multiple Vitruvian VR machines across the world, so that users can challenge themselves in a multiplayer game. We are, of course, hearing many customers to adapt certain solutions to make custom games, but not only games. We are able to offer and develop experiences that are on requests of certain institutions and clients that have contacted us in the past years. Here you can see the just a few applications of the machine. We are looking at the Winter Olympics to deploy a bobsleigh for Cortina 2026. We are looking at the more traditional jetpacks or the flying experiences, such as the ones you saw before in the space-related experience, Space Dive. And we are also looking at helicopter interface for more specifically for training pilots in rescue and emergency situations. So let's have a look at the Vitruvian VR 4XS technology more closely. On the hardware side, it allows performances that are really not possible on the current 3-axis simulators on the market. On the software side, it simplifies the physics of the virtual experience with an improved realism as well as unrivaled comfort. So the target markets are a few. The core one is the VR location-based entertainment, of course, but also the amusement and theme parks is looking at a renovation of their own experiences, and so they're passing from a more roller coaster old style experience to a more virtual one. So they are very interested in our solutions. The esports, as mentioned before, is where we see multiple players challenging themselves and eventually becoming athletes that are able to compete in esports arena. And you can imagine the fun of looking at multiple users on multiple Vitruvians in a stadium, in a esports arena. And then secondly, there is the training, research, and university, which are already interested, and also the edutainment. Think about the planetariums, Museum of Science, that are looking at new ways to interact with their own consumers. So the most important feature that there is no question about on Vitruvian is that is a high without its hangover, meaning that despite the power of the machine and the versatility of the machine, there is literally minimal, if not existing, motion sickness. We have interviewed everyone who has been trying the machine in the multiple public events, and as you can see, there was literally nobody who could experience nausea whatsoever. And this is not the case of our competitors. The two-axis competitors especially can give you strong motion sickness after a few minutes of experience. Let's have a look at how some of the last users of Vitruvian could give us a first-hand perspective.
Spaziale. A unique experience. Never did anything like this.
Io non avevo mai provato una cosa così e wow! Io non pensavo potesse essere così coinvolgente, anche solo banalmente i comandi, cioè ti muovi come vuoi, dove vuoi.
Ti senti completamente tirato dentro e ti sembra realmente di essere nello spazio, è una cosa bellissima.
Mi è rimasto di grafica e devo dire che è fatto meglio di quanto mi aspettassi. I dettagli sono veramente incredibili.
Il livello di realismo è eccezionale, e proprio senti quello che ti sta succedendo, lo senti proprio sul corpo.
Andare tra i galassi, tra le stelle, navigare proprio verso l'infinito, letteralmente.
Quando atterri sui pianeti, sulla Luna in particolare.
La parte finale, quando mi hai fatto correre dentro alle stelle, bellissima, ma è bellissima anche passare attraverso gli anelli di Saturno, veramente emozionante.
Veramente il momento più particolare è quello in cui ti togli il visore e ti rendi conto che non sei effettivamente lì dentro. Veramente la parola è immersione, perché ti senti totalmente immerso. No, sinceramente no, didn't feel anything. Nessuna sensazione di nausea. Anzi, era anche abbastanza rilassante stare nello spazio.
Me le aspettavo, ma nonostante 8 minuti di simulazione non ho assolutamente sentito niente. Tutte le sensazioni fisiche che ho sentito sono state belle.
Not at all. I already tried virtual reality, so I was accustomed to that, but no nausea at all. Credo che la renderebbe ancora più bella, ancora più veramente una cosa unica.
Sarebbe bello fare partite a qualche gioco dove ogni giocatore è collegato, ognuno nel suo apparecchio, e ci si sfida a fare una specie di arcade spaziale ma realistico, scientificamente accurato. Cioè può funzionare sia come cosa, diciamo, didattica, ma anche come cosa ludica, e combina entrambe le dimensioni.
Presente Apple e Android, no? Quando
fai il paragone, no? Che la Apple è più intuitiva, l'Android invece è un pelo più complesso, puoi fare più cose. Ecco, è un mischione tra intuitivo e complesso che fa paura, cioè è bellissimo. È una cosa che io consiglierei di brutto da provare e da mettere sul mercato, perché qui ci passerete dentro. Proprio decisamente di brutto.
This was the response from our latest users, and this is our team. We have Michele Ghedina, which is the founder, the very first visionary behind the machine, who along with Nicolò Gagliazzo made everything possible. And this is myself, Giovanni Fantoni Modena. I have a background in advertising and film directing, so I'm more on the creative side of the company. We have Adriano Del Moro, which is expert in marketing and management, and Carlo Dorizzi, the quality controller, a fundamentally important part of the company. While Marco Scanferla is our legal advisor and our very, very strong enthusiast, leading the possibility for companies to purchase the machine in 2022. Thanks everyone for watching. It's been a pleasure, and we will be very happy to hear any further questions you might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Giovanni. And now I'm happy to introduce Alessandro Martire, CEO of the portal, who presents LBVR for everyone, how to design a VR experience that everyone can use. Alessandro explored the complications and advantages of designing VR game without buttons through the lens of the portal. This talk is a deep dive into the process of testing multiple methods of giving clear feedback to the player without tutorials, using the previous life experience of players to make them interact, progress, and have fun into the VR experiences. Welcome, Alessandro. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for hosting me. Thanks to Cecilia for the great introduction. So, today we are going to talk about designing VR experiences with no buttons. First, a quick introduction. My name is Alessandro Martire. I am the CEO and CTO for the portal, and I started with the game development almost 20 years ago, mostly creating games for PC and mobile platforms. Okay, so what we are going to talk today is just a brief introduction to our technology that's powering our experiences. We will discuss the specifics and challenges of game design and storytelling in location-based virtual reality, and we will glance over the operation aspects. In 2017, we found the Portal, a VR-focused company that wants to lower the cost of the location-based virtual reality places. So we started creating our own system to make players move freely without external sensors. So, in fact, normally there are a lot of sensors around a room to track the position and orientation of players, and solutions like OptiTrack are really good at tracking but came at a high cost. So we developed our in-house tracking and syncing system that is based on outside tracking and let us track unlimited people wearing different kinds of headsets. In fact, our technology is platform independent and could be used with PC as well with mobile VR headsets. So, making player move, freely means a lot of trouble can happen. I think everyone saw at least one time one of these scenes in some videos, and of course our technology and also our game design allowed us to avoid problems like these. So we made it, and in 2019 we opened the first location-based virtual reality room in Italy. It's a 400 square meter place where up to 8 players can live wireless multiplayer VR experiences. The first title we proposed to the public was Bank Heist, an experience where the people were the bad guys and they have to take a part in a bank robbery. In this experience, they have to walk for almost 2 kilometers to accomplish their mission. They go through New York, sewers, passing from rooftops, and many other locations. During the experience, there are no loading times. Okay, we show just a quick video. Yeah, you can see the action is always fluent to players. They didn't notice that they are always walking around into the same place. We use some kind of walk redirection, and instead they always have the sensation of exploring new areas by themselves. In fact, you can see the guys is avoiding the column in there, and also is shooting all the cops. And here we are. They are all in the same place, they are walking freely, and also in VR they see each other. So, cool. Okay. Our technology can also be used in a smaller place, as little as 25 square meters. In fact, during the Milan Games Week 2019, we exposed our experience, Zombie Survival, where 2 people have to fight also zombies to find the way out to escape from an infested building. And this experience was created in collaboration with HP and Omen, and they gave us the chance to be there in that place. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you can see some pictures here, yeah, some movie. So during this event, more than 600 people tested the experience in just 3 days. We always had almost 2 to 3 hour queue of people that wanted to try the experience. And for that, just for instance, the demo was a 5 minutes game. So it was a really, really good experience for them and for us too. Yeah. So during this experience, we also saw that it isn't necessary to always use a lot of space. Using simple mechanics, we could give freedom to players also in a little space. This need arises from the fact that B2B customers want our experiences in their places, but they don't have large space to create big arenas. So, because of this, we created the Looper Space franchise. It's a new product designed to bring location-based virtual reality experiences easily everywhere in space starting from 25 square meters. And we started creating experiences with some principle in mind. So we have to save physical space, but participants take up a little space, a physical space, but they don't have to be restricted in their movement. And replayability. So player will come back with friends for a different experience every time, also if they play the same game, the same experience, sorry. And a recognizable design, so experiences could be enjoyed by people of all ages. In fact, we have a range from 10 to 90, and everyone have to understand the theme, and may be capable also of being used in tournaments for more attraction. So this is our first title for the Looper Space. It's called Wild Guns. It's a team-based PvP shooter where you are going to be transported into the Wild West and you have to beat the opposite team. So we have just a little pre-alpha gameplay here. Yeah. And we tested new way of movement and shooting, reloading mechanics, also with the team-based objective to manage, because we need the people to move in a lower space but feel free to move in the same way. In fact, you have seen the gameplay, but here you can see that session or real life recording, and as you can see it's really accelerated, so you can see people are free to move in space, also not going all over the room. There is one guy in fact that is rolling on the ground. I don't know if he won, but everyone has its own style, you know. Yeah, right. So it was really fun. So all of these experiences have one thing in common. People can freely live the experience without instruction or tutorials. We just tell people not to do what they wouldn't do in real life. so they can walk to move, interact with ambience to go through the experience and forget that it's only VR. There is no learning curve. In the beginning, they just use the experience that they had from real life, and they learn what they have to do into the experience directly into the VR world. Yeah. In all this experience, the player doesn't have to interact with any controller. In this way, people don't have to understand what button they have to press to do an action. Instead, they just have to use the information they have from real life transported to virtual reality. So if we have a rifle in virtual reality, we just create a rifle placeholder in real life and we use that. So in this way, people already know how to shoot and how to reload with a weapon without tutorials. And also the hands are tracked as well. We use different techniques like leap motion, computer vision with the eye, just controller attached to the wrist to test the best way to offer the right experience and also to maintain the cost down. In this way, people always feel free to move and interact with other people, and they always have their hands free like in the real world. This lets people interact with the environment like in the real life. So pressing a button means to use their own hand to press that button physically, also in VR. Because of this, game design is a big part of this work, because the players have to easily know what to do next, so they will feel free and will have the sense of progression also into the experience. So creating experience for a large audience means that you will face all kinds of people. In fact, from our data, we know that almost 80% of people that try this kind of experience are not gamers. So they are not used to games like story or something like that. So you have to talk to them directly, like in the real world if you are talking to someone. You can't use cutscenes or too long animations because the camera is not in control to avoid motion sickness. And in virtual reality, the people are surrounded by a new world and they are easily distracted by everything. And having a long dialogue isn't always a good choice for what we just said, So you have to always keep the experience entertaining them, so they just enjoy what they are doing into the virtual reality. So, for example, I will just show a little video here. It's from CEST, and the people just start in New York, and you are attracted to go through a descent into a garage, but this is up to the player to go down there. This lets people understand different things in just a simple way, so they can walk to move. At the same time, they are facing also the problem of going underground, and this means that they are facing with a VR challenge. So moving towards a different aid in VR, but working in a plane. And once that they are down into the garage, the first shooting session starts, and they just start to shoot everyone. So in just 30 seconds of gameplay, everyone knows how to move and what to do next. They are already focused on the experience and they have already lost touch with the real world. And this is really important. In just 30 seconds. Really good result. Yeah. So if everything is working fine, you can see people entertained during the experience, and sometimes they also entertain viewers. Like in this session here, I will show you. I will just show before.
Tu lo vedi se stai immune per 6 secondi.
Okay, yeah. So this was another horror experience during another event, and this girl screamed all the time. For 8 minutes straight, she just screamed. When the session was over, she went back to playing with some other friends. So this means that she really enjoyed also if she's screaming all the time. So really good example of what means entertaining but feeling the real experience. So we think that this is the first time in history where we can put people inside the medium. With books, movies, the people are just spectators. They are only viewing what's happening, they can't interact. So with standard flat games, people started to interact with the medium, making choice, but you have to use controller to interact, and this break the immersion. And it's not for everyone, you know, because it's a game, it's not just an experience to live. But virtual reality, and especially location-based virtual reality, people are transported into the medium. So in this way, people are the hero of the experience, they are inside of the story, and they are just part of that world that they are living. So how many times have you seen a movie and said, what are you doing? Go to the right, you know, like horror movies, something like that. Yeah, I think that this era is ended. Right now, you can make your choice inside the medium and let other spectators, maybe in the web, say, what are you doing? Go to the right. Yeah, something like that. Thank you. And to you, Cecilia, it's okay for everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Alessandro, for your important contribution to this AWE night event. For the final debate, which will be Giovanni and Alessandro. And during this debate, I want to talk about especially the COVID moment, because as Cecilia said, when 2 years ago, everyone was saying that LBVR could have been the future of VR. There could be disruptive more than VR at home. It could be the driver for VR at home. And then COVID arrived. So I want to ask you two how you have lived this transition in the LBVR sector, how COVID has impacted you, and how you are reinventing your business in the one.
Yeah, sure. Well, personally, as a Vitruvian co-founder, we entered the market just literally a couple of years ago. So we had a very strong feedback from the public, and then of course the pandemic came. So we could literally see the potential, to test the potential in all these public events, and the flood of emails and texts from all around the world without marketing, basically requesting the machine. So we are quite optimistic about the post-pandemic world. We saw that also you, Tony, show there are promising articles and trends coming back in the business. So we are definitely, overlooking with more attention, probably due to the pandemic restrictions, the future years. But we have to stay positive.
Of course. What about you, Alessandro?
Yes, I think that it's almost the same. The pandemic just it's a big hit for us, because most of the customer, it's B2B, and most of the arena that we are opening before the pandemic, it was something like 20 places into Italy. It's gone because because no one can go inside these places. So I think that there is also a good. It was a good place to start to play, so people will play also after, and we can see this because also in pandemic we have a lot of requests of people that wanna open and wanna be our franchisee. So I think this will go on, but it's not that there is something that is broken there, and I think that now we have to rebuild something. In fact, in all these months of pandemic, we rebuilt something in the way that it's like metaverse. So you have these places around the globe where you can play with your friends, because VR with other people is really, really enjoyable, and it's really a good, different experience for what you can do at home. But we have to basically think also about that. So we developed also some technologies to make people interact with each other standing at home. So yeah, we have to stay positive, like Giovanni said. So we try to do the best and take the best, because I think this thing in the end will end. So yeah, we will wait. In the meaning, we are not waiting by ourselves. So we are trying to keep focused and try to bring the best product we can.
Okay, I love your idea of staying positive. So, but apart from staying positive, we have to guarantee the hygiene of the users. So, then how can you guarantee the hygiene of your users? Can we really make the experience safe against COVID or other viruses?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely. We take it. We had to take it extremely seriously, and so we luckily were able to purchase the Cleanbox technology that you, Tony, I'm sure you know very well. That basically through a UV device can clean up in very quickly the headsets. So we were currently thinking to develop internally such a device. And of course, we plan to make hygienizations measures all across the Vitruvian VR platform. So not only the headsets, but everything you come in touch with has to be sanitized. But of course, due to these restrictions, we were able to purchase external companies' devices. To give you an example, that we were able to attend the Wired Next Fest in early October 2020, so just right before the second lockdown. And with this device and with these measures, the users were not even bothering about it. They were really, there are videos that proves it. Once you get the safety measures, people come back and trust that they can have fun with these public events. So this is what we look for in the next years.
Oh, that's cool. Alessandro, instead, I want to ask you another question that is, so two questions, since there is also one in the chat. So the first is always a question, because some people say, okay, but when 2 years ago, buying a VR headset was expensive, so it had sense to spend little money to go to LBVR venue. Now there's a question that costs $300 or €300. Can LBVR still be can still thrive even if there are now headsets that have a low cost? Yes or no, and why?
Yeah, well, the cost of VR headset, I think that also for location-based virtual reality, it's a good thing. Because if people try virtual reality, I think and I know that one people try the virtual reality and then wanna always more. So I think that also with the cinema is the same. You can see a movie in your house and then you go to the cinema. It's the same thing. Also, if you try the experience with your friends, touching your friends and being there, it's a really different sensation. I know it's different. It's difficult for me to transmit this thing, but everyone that tried this kind of technology tell us this. It's different from what you can do at home. I know that staying home it's different and it maybe could be cheaper because you can buy the headset and then the game, it's okay. But going to a place where you can stay with your friends and then after that you have the same things that you try when you go to trying, I don't know, an escape room or paintball or something, the go-karts, I don't know, every other things that you can try with your friends is something that in location-based virtual reality you try and you never could be the same at all. This is it's like this. It's something that is like that.
Okay, and Charlie George asks, can we use the Oculus Quest 2 for multiplayer location-based VR entertainment? I made some multiplayer games that I like to display publicly. So can we use the Quest 2 for multiplayer, LBVR?
Okay. Okay, I see. Yeah, okay. Our technology, we started with the technology and then we developed the experiences. Of course, we have the SDK and we are working with other people. They are creating games for our technology. So if everyone wanna take part on these, it's okay. Maybe I can write the email here or is in presentation I've already sent, but it's okay. I can write like that, and you can keep in touch. Also, try with the website is you can find the underscore. Maybe I can write that on the chat so people can keep in touch with us. Oh yeah. So
Okay.
basically, yes, we don't have any. We are platform independent, so Quest 2 is it's okay for us. Yeah.
Yeah, also completing the answer, I will say that the Quest 2 has, so technically can be used, as Alessandro said. The problem is the licensing. That is a bit, until some months ago, for sure, it was not, you will not be able to use it for, especially if you wanted to have co-location in the same space. Quest or Facebook prohibited it. Then I've seen that there's been like a vendor in France that was allowed to do something like that. So the situation now is a bit more confused. So probably if you, on the technical side is possible, on the business side, probably you should contact Facebook directly to understand if co-location with
Quest 2 about that, allowed. Yes, you have yeah, it's right, Anthony. Yeah, you have to talk with Facebook and understand what they want to do. Yeah, but that's the way.
Yeah, otherwise there are alternatives like Pico or maybe HTC, who knows.
Yes, there is also a new one.
Giovanni, I want to end this with a question. If you have, since I've seen you entering the field, growing, battling to succeed, can you give from your experience some pieces of advice to people that want to enter the location-based VR field?
Okay, well, that's of course a challenging market because it doesn't involve only software development but hardware development. So to somebody who is literally starting off right now, I would encourage them to look around themselves very carefully and to see potential niches that are not covered yet in the market. There are many, but of course, to make a proof of concept, a POC that nowadays is quite easy to do on the software side, the location-based, forces you to try out yourself on the hardware side. So. But this is not to discourage people to come on in this market, is to actually understand the complications to do so. To quote, for example, Elon Musk, who recently said, actually said many times, do a prototype is easy. To industrialize it is very complex. So it's a tough market, but we cannot be more happy to try out the technology and the solutions we provide.
Well, Alessandro, have you anything to add about to Giovanni's answer?
Oh, I totally agree with him. It's a tough market. You just have to see the niche because it's difficult just to start, and when you are starting in a market that is already filled with other things, it's more difficult. And for us, we started with the first prototype in just, I don't know, I think a month, and everything is working. And then it took almost 1 year to make it really usable in a real environment. So yeah, creating the prototype is just the start. I think it's maybe 20%, and it's really tough. In a scale, it's 100%, but in the scale of the product, it's 20%, because every time you just have a lot of other things that it's not only the product itself.
Okay, I think the time is up. I think that it's been great talking with you three. Also, thank you, Marco, that was here, even if you had some health problems today. So thanks to you three for this amazing talk, Alessandro, Giovanni, and Marco. I think we had great insights on LBVR, especially in this complicated moment. I think it's important to support the sector because we want it to succeed again. So it's great to have been able to feature you in this.
Okay, it's finished. Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Alessandro. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you all for being here.
It's been a
great. Thank you. Oh, here it is. Hi, Anthony.
Yeah, I'm here again. So it's been an interesting day, you know, lots of things to cope with, but we'll be stronger than before at the next event next month. So be sure to register. We will see you at the end of May to talk about something new. I will discover it not today. It will be a secret. We'll tell you soon. So have a nice day and have a nice day in VR. Bye-bye. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Giovanni. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Alessandro. Thank you all for being here. See you soon at the next Nite Florence event. Bye-bye.